This episode contains themes of the death of a loved one, memory loss, and infidelity. If you ever feel unsafe or suicidal, please call your local crisis center, emergency services, or national hotline. A link to an international list of crisis hotlines is listed in the description below. Remember, friends, you matter. The camera is flying across the lake, and then up through the forest and settling on the outside of Mistrend Manor. The camera pops in through the window. Mordecai, you're looking out the window into the night for a moment. You turn away, and what you don't see is a set of large red eyes that blink in the darkness on the edge of the estate and then are gone. Kai, what are you doing the first night that you are staying in your ancestral home?
I think one of the first thing Mord's gonna do, I imagine at some point we went back to CSU, grabbed some stuff, clothing, etc., moved some stuff into the house. This first night, one of the first thing Mort does is he goes into basically one of the collections, artifact room, basically. And there's a spot on one of the far walls. And in this room, you see a bunch of different, it's almost like a museum, random antiquities and oddities and stuff like that. And he takes the hilt of the katana that he had, and there's a spot on one of the far cases that is missing a sword, and he puts it back. It's one of the things that he took when he left the house to go to college, and he's feeling kind of guilty that it's broken. It's something that belonged to his dad, and he broke it.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just broken, it's that the blade is just gone from the hilt. There's no shards or anything left. It's just a wooden hilt now. And so you try and place it on the balance for it, and it just doesn't quite sit the way that it's supposed to, because the blade would counterbalance it. And so you kind of are forced to kind of put it on the mantle in front of, or in between the place where the sword should sit as you are kind of going through the home.
Yeah, and I think after that he goes in, he doesn't go to his room on the first night. I don't think he's not ready to sleep in that space yet. There's this giant leather sofa in the antiquities room, and he kind of he goes over to a globe, and it opens to a big decanter set with liquor and stuff, and he pours himself another glass of scotch, and he sprawls out on the sofa and is just kind of paging through his mom's journal, looking for stuff about A, the house, and B, continuing to glean more and more information about the magical world, and C, he's not ready for it, but he knows there's information in there that might clue him into what happened to her.
Roll investigate a mystery. All right.
11 lethal.
Sheesh. On an 11 for investigate a mystery, do you want to do a flexible alternative, or do you want to do your regular hold?
Let me see. Hang on.
So on a flexible alternative, you'll get 2 general questions or a specific question that I have to answer honestly with good detail. Or with a regular 10 plus, you hold to. And I don't believe you have advanced investigate a mystery.
I don't have the advance, no.
Okay.
Like I said before, Mordecai is not ready fully to understand what happened to his mom, so I'm not going to ask that very specific question yet. I will ask. It's up to your interpretation and how you feel, how general these questions are. But I'll do the flex alt, and I'll ask two gen questions.
Okay.
The first general question I get is, what content in the journal relates to the house? That being the first question.
Like, is there information about like how the house works, or
how it works / history? I'm just looking for like as much information I can glean about the house from the journal itself as possible.
Yeah, I mean, this was also Cassandra's home as well growing up. So she didn't write a lot about it, because when you grow up in a place and you already have knowledge about these things, you don't research. You're normally like learning and researching about things you don't already know. So you're not necessarily always looking deeply at the things that are right in front of you. That being said, like Cassandra had a few entries about the house having played tricks and being able to go to some other rooms of the house that apparently others in her family couldn't. There's mention of like a vault, the cellar, and even a shrine being somewhere on the grounds.
Okay, thank you. And then for the second question, it's, what sort of magic was my mom / family playing with in her journal? Like, does anything pop out?
You know, from looking at her notes and seeing formulas there, that Cassandra was an alchemist, and so she specifically, like, she derived her magic through an understanding of elemental forces and magical like formula, and the formula basically of being like cause and effect, transmogrification of matter in both like changing aspects of matter and also like the movement of it. That was her specific like expertise outside of cryptozoology. And there's a lot of information in her notebook about like ecology and the not just the hunting patterns of creatures, but also like their breeding patterns, where they like to be, their ecosystems that they live in, things like that. In a large way, it seems like your mother wasn't just a hunter, but she was a conservationist. The camera pulls away from Mordecai sitting by the fireside and investigating this journal. And I want to
wonder
check
what
in.
Dan's doing right
Yeah,
now.
I want to check in with Dan. What are you doing in this new place?
Dan doesn't own a lot of things, so packing up out of the dorm room was pretty easy. He's got like an old sort of writing desk that is set up for him in this room, setting up all his school stuff on it. Having been away from classes for an extended period of time, he's a little behind. And he made an excuse and got his parents to actually support an excuse of like a bereavement, a death in the family, as a reason to be excused from classes for the period of time. Took a bit of convincing to get their support on it, but you know, finals are coming up, and there are projects that he is just learning about that are rapidly approaching. So he wants to start spending the night catching up on homework and catching up on school, just as a thing to focus on, sort of distract himself from the mystery of the house for a bit and everything. Dan's setting up, and Dan starts thumbing through a textbook, and he's having a really hard time focusing. And he starts nodding off at his desk.
Running through a forest, seeing mala break away from you, seeing the skin of a basilisk flash in front of you. That thing, its head coming down on you. You wake up. A mug has been placed on the desk in front of you, and Mr. Sitwell is there with a cup of coffee. Having a hard night, son?
Did you let yourself in?
Yeah, sorry, you didn't answer the door.
My bad. I was nodded off. Dan definitely woke with like a hell of a start and probably knocked something off of the desk in that. We'll say his textbook. He just sort of like shoved off, and he sort of reaches down to get it,
Oh yeah.
lays it back on the desk, closes it.
What you working on?
I mean, just catching up on school. I was away for a while. I was deep in some research, and it's hard to live two lives, you know. Take the coffee and take a sip. I don't think Dan is much of a coffee person. It's a bit strong for him.
Mr. Sitwell smiles for a second. Yeah, it is hard. Let's see. And he like picks up your book. Let's say that this is like a world history class that you're taking. All right, yeah. Looks like you're looking at that at the old Manifest Destiny, huh? How about this? I got some time, and I'm not heading back for a little bit. It doesn't matter if I sleep in tomorrow too. Would you like some help?
The hard thing for me isn't you know, trying to get a grasp of what happened in the dates and the timeline. The hard part is trying to figure out what they want me to say, because it's so different from how things actually went. So all of that to say, if you're offering, I thanks. It helped me power through it and stave off the exhaustion.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Chapter 7. All right. We just pull away out the window from this scene of Mr. Sitwell trying to help out a friend. Maybe make things a little easier for Dan.
That's nice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monster Hour, an actual play podcast about weird heroes, found family, and the stories you make when you go off the rails. Step through the looking glass and into our Season 2 game of Absurdia, a modern fantasy role-playing game about the absurd humor and understated horror of everyday life. Join demi-ghost lifestyle blogger Claire Claremont.
I do terrify people in town quite often.
Community radio host Duncan Oliver.
Investigative, friendly, a little flirty.
And woe-begotten time traveler Max.
The Time Cat is the reason I got unstuck from time.
As they navigate the surreal suburban town of somewhere. The Screaming Fog.
Oh, shit.
The City Council, praise be.
Crazy. I don't even refer to them by name. I don't want to give them that kind of power.
Bus is sentient, Bus is alive, Bus is forever.
A leviathan of steel and tinted glass.
Run! Run!
If you're a fan of Welcome to Night Vale, Alice in Wonderland, or Gravity Falls, you'll love Season 2 of Monster Hour. New episodes every other Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, and welcome back to Memester of the Week. Thank you for checking in and listening. That was a promo for our wonderful friends over at the Monster Hour, finishing up Season 2 pretty soon and moving on to their third season. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you want to hear more from us, come chat with us on the Actual Place Discord server, or hang out with us on Twitter or Blue Sky or Tumblr at MemsterOTWPod. And if you really like hanging out with us, we're also on Twitch, streaming pretty frequently at Streamster of the Week. We have been playing The Wolf Among Us, Inscription, and if you miss a stream, you can always check out the VOD on YouTube at Memester of the Week. Please rate and review us on your podcatchers. We love stars. They help us thrive and survive. And it's cool to tell people that you love what they're doing, and cool to tell people about the things that you love. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. And now, let's get into a special treat for you guys. See you later. We see Journey lying in bed, and she's having kind of a fitful sleep. The cross necklace around her neck glows orange, and the camera zooms into Journey's eyes, that orange light overtaking us as we pull out from a face that's only familiar to one of us. Maybe you saw it in some photographs as a child, Journey, but what does Maureen Sitwell look like in her mid-20s?
Well, a lot like Journey, she definitely was also a bit of a savvy fashionista in her time. So she normally wore a calf-length flowy skirt, a nice belt that would cinch in her waist, that typical 50s silhouette, She would often wear a longer sleeve turtleneck shirt adorned with some kind of ribbon or bow around the neck. And also she would keep her hair up to kind of keep it out of her face because she would be, moving around a lot, solving mysteries, doing investigative stuff and such.
We see everything in kind of a sepia tone. And as you look around this motel room, you can see a calendar that reads March 15th, 1953. There's a good amount of papers and books that have been scattered across the room, and not a few spools of yarn laying about. And as we zoom out from Maureen, we see that the wall in front of her has been plastered with papers that are held up by sellotape and push pins with various colors of yarn crossing and connecting different pieces of information.
I think Journey takes a moment to kind of ground herself. And by ground herself, I mean wondering what the heck is going on and why everything is in sepia tone.
Mm-hmm.
It's an odd choice to have a dream in sepia tone. So she hops over to this wall that's just filled with all of this paraphernalia and yarn, and is impressed, but also mildly concerned about what's going on. So she decides to investigate it a little bit further.
Yeah, that sounds like a investigative mystery.
Let's do it, Home Slice. I am investigating that mystery. It's a 9.
Okay, so on a 9 for investigative mystery, you hold 1. And you ask one of the questions.
Okay. I would love to ask, what happened here? What am I looking at?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on?
Where am I? What? Well, I know when am I, but what am I and where am I?
What am I?
And what's happening?
What am I? When am I? Where am I? How am I?
Am I going to start having tap dancing animals walk into the room? What extent of a weird dream am I in right now?
Most importantly, why am I?
Yeah.
Very good. So what is being concealed here? You start looking over these pieces of information that have been plastered to this wall here, and you start seeing the connections. There have been multiple missing persons cases in this area of Arkansas for probably 20, almost 30 years. But in the last couple of months, it's been starting to accelerate. There have been multiple missing persons cases within the past year or so. And now one person in particular is missing by the name of Paul Dumont.
I'm in Arkansas? All the places, why Arkansas?
Yeah, you see some newspaper clippings from the Siloam Springs Gazette.
Guess I could go visit the giant Walmart. Wait, what year is it? Is Walmart a thing yet?
I
don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I can't go visit the giant Walmart.
Is Walmart a thing?
No. I can, well, I mean, probably, but not in the form that we...
1962.
Nope, not
This
yet.
is pre-Walmart.
This is pre-Walmart history.
Wow, this is pre-Walmart in Arkansas.
Okay, so I
there we go.
definitely can't go to the Walmart. Okay, fantastic. And there's a French guy who is missing. Even worse. What's he doing in Arkansas? Okay, fantastic. I think Journey is going to instinctively reach into her pocket. By the way, this skirt definitely also has pockets. She's going to reach into her pocket and try to pull out her smartphone that doesn't exist.
Of course.
And get really upset that it's not there.
Yeah, I think you reach into the skirt with pockets and you notice that they are definitely hand sewn in. That it wasn't manufactured like this, and there's no phone. You reach into the hand sewn pocket of this skirt, and instead of grabbing a phone, you grab a notepad.
What? Hate writing things by hand. She flips open the spiral notebook and flips through a couple pages of it to see if there's anything that could kind of give her more information about what is going on.
Yeah, absolutely. No roll needed. You look through this.
Wait, did they have spiral notebooks in the 50s? This is just gonna be an entire couple hours of us Googling, did they have blank in the 50s?
Welcome to our historical accuracy podcast.
They definitely did. Oh yeah, 1924. We're good. We're so good.
Okay,
We're so good.
We're fine.
I'm so
We're fine.
sorry. Please continue.
You're entirely fine. You're so good. Yeah, so you're flipping through this notebook, and you see a couple of theories forming from Maureen. You recognize the handwriting from the letters that she would send you as a kid, and it would just be like notes on like, okay, Ozark Mountains, lots of forests, lots of specifically caves in this area. Lots of people go missing here all the time because of hiking and things like that, people getting lost. But you also started to give note about like weather patterns being shifted around, and from like looking at like Falmore's almanacs and things like that, like the frequency at which tornadoes have been hitting this specific part of Arkansas, and severe like unseasonal storms not in late April or July, but like in October or even sometimes December, tornadoes starting to kind of form more recently. You know that there's some sort of connection between these things.
That's weird. Wait a second, I recognize that handwriting. Hold on. The next thing she's going to do is check to see if there is a mirror in this room.
Yeah, there's absolutely a mirror.
She walks up to the mirror and takes a second, kind of looks up and down at her whole body, does like a little spin, pushes her hair up a little bit. She's like, oh, I look cute. Oh shit, I'm Graham. Wait a minute. Hold on. This is a weird one. This is a weird one. Okay, wait. Can I fly? She jumps up.
You come back to Earth as is normal for you.
She's not used to the kind of shoes that her grandmother wears, and so she twists her ankle a little bit as she comes down.
You take one.
Okay, no flying. Noted. I wonder if this was something that she actually something she actually investigated. Wait, did out of character, does Journey know anything that her grandmother has done ever? Because I really don't think that she has, unless she's been told or shown stuff by her dad.
So your dad and you haven't specifically talked about anything that like you've really barely talked about anything that your dad kind of did growing up, let alone anything your grandma did.
That's true, but she knows now that he has been involved in shit. But I don't know to what degree she knows about Maureen,
So you, back in like...
I'm really trying to remember, man.
Back in like the early episodes of Memester, you talked about your grandma, especially towards the later end of her life, opening up more about the supernatural and talking about fae, talking about supernatural creatures.
Right, but I think like Journey just kind of assumed that was like not that she didn't believe her, but that it was kind of like to a degree sort of desperate babbling from someone who was older and sort of losing her sense of self, and didn't really take that as yes, my grandmother was a monster hunter or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
I don't think that she would have made that connection from that.
Yeah, I think that like with the blessing that like Journey's grandma has kind of given you, and like talking about like, go talk to the King of the Fae, say hi for me sometime, and now you're in this position of Well, there seems to be something suspicious going on. I think you're starting to realize, like, oh, this was something that has always run in the family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is she still wearing the necklace?
She's not wearing the necklace.
Okay. So I think Journey is going to have that moment of realization of, oh, shit, maybe Gram wasn't just saying stuff. Maybe there was some substance to what was going on with her. And she's going to instinctively reach up to her neck for that necklace and find that it's not there. Okay. Well, I'm here. So I guess I might as well take a second look at this stuff. So I guess my question is, do we have a starting point for where the heck we're going?
Yeah, if you look around the...
Do I need to investigate the room also?
Yeah, go ahead and investigate the room, and I'll tell you what you see.
I'm just going to take a second look around this hotel room and see if there's some other information that she can glean, perhaps some more, like, up-to-date daily newspaper, perhaps a Bible inside the desk drawer next to the bed. Is that a thing still in the 50s? Who knows?
I'm not gonna look up when the Gideons started doing this. Let's just
decide with investigate a mystery.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's a success.
Okay, yeah. On a full success, you get to hold 2. So what would you want to ask here?
So I would like to ask. These are difficult. Can I use my advance to kind of ask a question that is not? It's not an advanced success though, because these questions are like about monster, but there's no monster yet. So I'm like,
I mean, you can ask the flexible alternative, which on a 10 or higher, you get 2 general questions or 1 very specific question. And based on how you're investigating, I will tell you honestly and with good detail what you discover.
Cool, great. So then I guess, let's see. I am going to use this as one specific question and ask what is the most fresh lead that Maureen was looking into when Journey magically poofed into her body. What was the last thing that she was working on, or the thing that she's about to go do? You know, a la like, I got a calendar and today I'm going to meet with Mr. So-and-so to discuss blah, blah, blah. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you see in like a bag by the door, as if it was just put down as she came in, small like tote bag of library books.
Ooh, okay. So Journey's going to pop over to that bag, pop it open, and see what books are in there.
Yeah, you see a bunch of books about like fantastical folklore, urban legends, specific folklore related to this area of the country.
Cool.
Honestly, it was probably every book on folklore that the local library even had, and it's a total of like 4.
I was gonna say there probably wouldn't be too much
in Arkansas, in rural Arkansas in the 50s. Yeah,
you'd be lucky to have a thing at all. Okay, cool. I think Journey's gonna look inside of the first page of one of the books just to see where she got the book from, what library.
Yeah, you check it and it says the Siloam Springs Library, and you see that the like card that is used to like stamp the checkout date and the check-in date has actually been moved from the front of the book to be used as a bookmark.
Okay. Well then, okay, so that's where we got the book from. Okay, then I'm just gonna go ahead and see if I can pull that up on Google Maps. And she reaches into her skirt again, and once again realizes that she does not have her portable knowledge device of the gods, and gets very frustrated. Okay, I don't have that. I guess I have to actually go outside and find where I'm going. Oh, this is gonna be a lot harder than I thought. Oh, this dream sucks. Okay. Does she have friends? Now Journey is looking for a purse for an address book, because those definitely did exist. I can confirm that.
Yeah, you go find Maureen's purse. It's like this little like snap bag kind of situation, and pull out a little black book, and it has a list of people's phone numbers and names and addresses and things like that. Turn to one of the pages around like halfway through, and you see that Maureen's been traveling a lot, actually. With every page, every couple of pages at the top, there's the name of a different town, and there's the name of a different area of the country, essentially. Flips over, flips over, flips over, flips over. You find Siloam Springs, Arkansas, and the date being like a couple days ago, maybe like the 13th. And you find the name and phone number for the police officer who ran autopsy records, like who had autopsy records and who like was basically in charge of the records department for the police here in this town.
Cool. I just want to point out the fact that the idea of me role-playing out cold calling this man is giving me anxiety, which can only translate to Journey also having crippling anxiety of cold calling a random man in the 1950s from an address book.
That's entirely fair, man. Yeah.
Next question. Are there phones in the hotel rooms in the 1950s?
We're going to say yes.
Okay, cool. So, hands trembling, she walks over to the telephone. She investigates it a little further and realizes it's the cute little spinny type, but she promptly realizes that she doesn't really know how it works. It takes her a few tries to try to get it right, but she puts in the phone number of said officer and holds the phone up to her ear. Wow. Good sound effect.
Hello? Hello, yes?
Hi, this is Maureen Sitwell. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to on this fine morrow? She does not know how to use correct.
Oh, Maureen!
Yes!
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, it's great to hear back from you. Yeah, no, this is Officer Dale? Officer Dale, that's
Really,
my name.
really,
it's a real name.
Really selling it there.
My name's Officer John Green, author of Paper Hounds.
Alive and well in the 1950s.
Alive and well.
Well?
Alive and well, no relation. Yeah, hi. Oh, yeah, no, I'm Officer Green. Yeah, wonderful to hear back from you. I know that you were a little bit spooked last time you came over to the records department, but it's good to see and hear from you, or rather just hear from you. How's everything going?
Oh, well, what could I have been so scared about? I mean, truth be told, I don't remember, actually, because I just drank my silly little self silly last night, and I just don't remember anything now. Do you mind telling me what happened yesterday, 2 days ago?
Yeah, roll and manipulate someone. This person's going to think that this is very fucking weird.
Yeah, but, women drinking themselves to death in the 1950s was definitely socially accepted at the time.
True.
That is a mixed success.
On a mixed success, you have to do something to show that you mean it. So you have to do something to show that you mean that you drank yourself silly last night and have no memory of what's going on or what happened.
How do I do that over the phone?
Fuck, man, I don't know. Talk about losing your keys, like, or your shoe.
Not again. Not again. I'm not strong enough.
That's actually the family curse. Is just
constantly losing your
Sitwell women losing their shoes in high stakes situations.
Journey panics for a bit, reaches into the drawer next to the bed, and pulls out a room service menu and wildly flips through it. And then she goes, "Oh, well, I was just so parched when I just came back from a nice party that I wanted to get some room service, and I asked the attendant what they recommended, and while I just thought it was some fancy juice, but it turns out it was a specific kind of juice, if you catch my meaning. And I had about 2 bottles of it, so...
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot, especially for a woman of your stature. I mean, the blood alcohol content of your body right now must be
sure.
absolutely insane.
Yes, of course. I'm quite all right now, though. But I would like to set the record straight on what I had been up to previously. So if you wouldn't mind just giving me more details about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you came here, you were asking about the missing persons cases, and then about one of the bodies that tragically was found from that. You flashed your fancy little FBI badge at me, and I was like, wow, this is honestly incredibly impressive for a woman to be in this position.
I get that a lot.
In this day and age, I mean, what's the world coming to? It's going to be a new era for sure.
Don't you worry too much about it.
I'm sure I'll be fine, but
don't worry, sir. 100 years later, it's not going to be too much of a difference.
Yeah, we went over the autopsy records and saw the body had their heart removed. Talked about the families and all of those things, and it was really kind of quite a sight, because you looked like you kind of pieced something together and then just went running off.
Yes, I suppose so. I'm trying to. I think I was just so beside myself that I couldn't really handle it, so I decided to leave. Do you happen to have the information on the family of the deceased?
Yeah, the Browns live here in town still, active with the local church and everything like that.
Splendid. Would you mind providing me their address if you could? I'd like to visit them or give them a call to ask some more questions.
Yeah, for sure. And he just tells you what an address for
people
these
didn't find
people.
Anything suspicious back then.
Yeah, for sure. Like
they're just doxing people left and right.
Yeah.
Okay, and Journey goes ahead and jots that into her notepad to see if she can go pay them a visit. Oh, sorry, one more thing before I head out. I was just curious, would you mind giving me a call if there are any other reports of anything suspicious going on, so that we could try to get some more information in the immediate?
Yeah, absolutely. Should I just call you here on the motel line?
This is the moment that hits Journey that she realizes that there is not a portable way of contacting someone in the 1950s, and this once again makes her angry. This is the 3rd time now, I think.
Least.
Oh, you know what? Yes, that's just wonderful. If I don't answer, you could leave a note with the hotel to just have me call you back.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just write down the number here. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Miss Sitwell. I hope you're able to find what you're looking for, and you just let me know if you need any more help.
Thank you. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Click burr.
Oh God. Okay. So I need to. Okay. How did people do anything in the 50s? All right. I need to find this person's address. Well, find out how to get there. I can't drive. Also, I don't think I could drive anyway. Well, can I? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I can't drive. I will kill someone. I need to find a way to get to this house without driving. They have cabs. Cabs are a thing. Cabs are definitely a thing. Journey picks up Maureen's bag and grabs her notebook, pops it back in her skirt pocket, and proceeds to head out the door of the hotel room. She searches in her other pocket and finds the hotel key inside there. Mm-hmm. Locks it manually, which also just gives her the heebie-jeebies, and then heads downstairs to talk to the person at the hotel front desk and see if she can't call a cab to get to the family's house.
Yeah, I think you accomplish all of these things with no problem.
Oh, definitely with some problems, because she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah, but not necessarily.
Not enough to talk about. You can imagine the suffering of a Gen Z trying to deal with not technology.
Yes.
I think manual windows definitely freaked her out a lot.
You get your taxi, you go to the Brown household.
Is it brown?
No. It's the Brown household is like kind of in the more rural edge of town in this already extremely rural town, kind of based up into the Ozark Mountains. We see a lot of like just really gorgeous vistas as you're going around in the taxi. And you come up to this nice wooden house. They've decided to paint the exterior like paneling green with like a nice white picket fence and a white door.
I was going to ask if it had a white picket fence, even though it probably doesn't need one because they don't have neighbors.
For sure.
As is tradition. Alrighty then. Journey is going to just take, with, the smallest amount of caution possible, just walk straight up to the front door and search for a doorbell. Don't know if those things exist. Give it a knock. Give it a knock.
Someone opens the door. You see a woman in her mid-30s with longer brown hair and kind of dressed up in a similar way to you, nice like skirt and blouse situation. She goes, "Oh, yes, Maureen, it's so nice to see you again."
Oh, yes, hi. I'm sorry to drop in without any prior notice. I just wanted to ask you a few more questions, if that was all right.
Yeah, anything. It's been, I'd love to talk to you about James. Go ahead and come inside.
Okay. He follows her into, I presume, the living room for a nice snack.
Yeah, Mrs. Brown like directs you to the sitting room. Yeah, can I get you anything? Water, a little biscuit, or anything like that?
Oh, that would be lovely, thank you. And I think, she is going to ask for it, if not to kind of do her own little snooping around the living room while she is off preparing said snack, just to kind of get an idea of like what the family is like, see if she can find any photos around, things of that nature.
Miss Brown exits the room to go to the kitchen and start getting your snacks ready and everything like that. Go ahead and investigate a mystery.
Did you say that I had an FBI ID?
Yes.
When did they? 1908. Wow.
Yeah, FBI.
That's early.
Around for a very long time.
That's crazy.
Generally being a nuisance.
Cool. Love that. Okay, let me find investigate a mystery. Okay, here we go. I am going to investigate a living room. It's mixed.
Yeah, so that's one for that. What would you like to kind of scope out here?
I would like to see if there's anything being concealed here. Is there trouble in paradise? Because Journey's instinct always is first to see if it's something of just people being people, because like her mind does not immediately leap to the supernatural because she has been spending her entire life trying to disprove anything supernatural, right? So she thinks it could be one of those wild things that she's listened to in her hundreds of murder podcasts that she's imbibed in while working on editing her videos. So she very well assumes that it could be something human related.
You take a look around in this, not lavish, but like a little more than modestly decorated living room. They have a nice sitting area with a coffee table and all of that. A mantle that has some family photos placed around. And you notice that although there are some photos of like what appear to be like grandparents or parents of Mr. and Mrs. Brown, there aren't any pictures of Mr. and Mrs. Brown together, and there is a spot that is lacking of dust where a picture clearly was once.
Interesting. Okay. Do they have any children?
They don't have any children.
That's weird. Let me just say this right now out of character. Not now. But in the 1950s.
That's unusual for the 50s for the age that they are and the area of the world that they are in. Yeah.
Precisely. And especially from being from a religious family.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah, you're looking around for a bit, and Mrs. Brown comes back in with a tray of waters and some snacks and places it on the coffee table. I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, sorry, dear. Yeah, it took a second."
No, not a problem at all. Thank you so much for your hospitality. So, it's John, right? That's his name?
I think I said Jane.
So many J
There's
names.
another J name. Let's change it. Because that's gonna be very confusing to keep track of. Let's call him Alan. Alan Brown. Alan Brown.
Okay. Alan, and what's her name?
Jessica.
Jessica's not an old one.
Jennifer. Don't
That's
say.
worse.
Jennifer.
That's-
Second one, Jennifer.
No,
Jennifer Brown
that's
and
worse.
Alan Brown.
That's worse. Definitely not a name in the 1950s.
Bro, I don't know.
Alan's good. Alan's good. I don't care about her name right now. So she's gonna say like, oh, thank you so much, appreciate it. So how long had you and Alan been together?
Oh, I mean, we talked about this yesterday.
Sorry, I have just the worst memory. Sometimes things just slip, you know.
Yeah, Alan and I had been together for a little over a decade.
Wow, quite a long time. Would you say that how were things before the incident happened?
Yeah, I mean, you know how men can be. They can be distracted.
Oh, sure.
Things were mostly fine. Honestly, we were getting ready and planning a vacation
Oh, a vacation. Where were you planning on going?
to Florida
Oh,
for about a week.
how lovely. That's nice. My issue at this juncture is I still don't have any of this information of what happened, when happened, and how it happened. But I feel like she already knows all of this. Should already know all of this. Wouldn't that not have been on the board?
You had pieces of evidence that you didn't have context for that now you are gaining context for, and so you are remembering them and kind of putting those pieces together. So you flash back and you remember the autopsy reports from like the information that was like plastered to the wall.
Yeah.
A man who had been missing for a little bit, and then the body was found and they were missing a heart.
Mm-hmm.
Information like notes written in Maureen's hand about the Brown family and how their relationship seemed fine, at least from Mrs. Brown's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But Mr. Brown did have a habit of like staying out kind of later and going on like personal hiking trips pretty often.
Cool. Okay. Did the newspaper article, did it mention like where they found the body?
The body was found out in the woods where someone was hunting, like up into the Ozarks mountain range.
I feel like most people would assume that that would be like an animal attack then.
Yep.
Right.
That's what it was published as.
Okay. Miss Brown, I was just wondering, could you tell me a little bit more about the and anything that your husband could have said to you before he left? Before, did this happen in the day? Did this happen at night? Sorry, I still don't have enough information. Like, what did he go out for a night hike? Did he go out for a morning hike?
Yeah. So
Was he going out for a hike? I don't know what was going on.
yeah, Mrs. Brown tells you like, oh yeah, he liked to go hiking on weekends, sometimes, and he told me that he was going to go out that weekend for a day hike, and he would be back that evening.
Did you notice anything odd about the interaction before he left? Was he acting strange? Did he do anything unusual?
I think you see Miss Brown get a bit uncomfortable for a second. She's like, she like rubs her neck a little bit, and she's like, I told you yesterday, he was a bit excited about going on his trips.
Did he have any hiking buddies? Did he just go alone?
No, he liked to go alone. Said that he was communing with God's creation.
Okay, interesting. Again, I don't know if she found the body or if somebody else found the body, so I don't.
You would know from the report that a local hunter was the one who found the body.
Okay. Would you be able to show me the general area that he liked to go for walks?
No, rather not go out there. But
Oh, you can just tell me. It's okay.
yeah, if you just take the 405 on the way out of town, and then about 15 miles out, turn off to the right. That's around the like start of the trail that he would like. And I think like seeing how nervous she is about talking about these things. You remember an additional detail about the autopsy, and the autopsy pictures that wasn't published. So the heart was removed, yes, and there was biting and clawing marks.
Okay.
But also along the neck, there were clearly like what we would call hickeys.
Okay. There were suction wounds.
There was some bruising, as it were.
Smoochy bruising. I didn't know people in the 50s were that freaky. Oh my god. Okay.
Oh my god,
Oh my gosh.
Grandma.
Grandma. All right, that's enough. Done with that.
Is this a kissing podcast?
Oh Jesus. How often do you guys go to church?
Oh, every Sunday, of course.
Do you guys have any close connections and friends with people there? People that you like to spend time with?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I spent time in the ladies group, and Alan was in the men's group every Sunday night, and then we would go to church together and on the mornings, and yeah, it's been a supportive group, especially now that he's gone.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Would you happen to know anyone that didn't like Alan?
No, I'm sorry. Everybody loved Alan. He was kind and congenial with everybody. He was deacon and loved serving the church and the community. And no, I can't think of any reason why anyone would not like him.
I understandable. It's just procedure. I have to ask. How many other people has this happened to in this community, and do they all go to the same church? Are they all in the same area?
This has happened to at least 3 people in the last 2 years in this community. You would know from looking at the information that a lot of them were, for the bodies that were found, a lot of them were a similar case of bruising patterns and parts being removed.
Dude, why is this fucking... Why are they giving hickeys to everybody? Are they all men?
They're all men.
Dude, some freaky shit is going on here. Okay. The hickey ghoul. Okay. That's the name of this episode.
The hickey ghoul. I'm
Sorry.
I'm tempted to give you a piece of information here.
What do I gotta do to get it out of you? I can just tell you what my next thought is of formulating this plan. And you can tell me if it's worth doing that or if it's not worth doing that.
Okay.
Which is trying to find if there are some other people that are probably less tight-lipped to talk to about the situation that have either known one of the guys or known her husband. Be more willing to chat and see if any of those guys had any special friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which probably would involve going to a bar, something of that nature. So that's just what I'm thinking right now. If that's a bad lead, I'd rather just go look at where the body was found. That's another option.
Yeah, I think that from the context of what's going on, and I think also from the information that had been kind of laid out before you with the wall of discovery, essentially the wall of clues, you'd put together a couple different things. You'd put together that all of the victims, other than being men, had another thing in common.
They were all hoes.
Yep. They actually had 2 things in common. They were all not being faithful to their partners.
Not surprised.
Or they were not being faithful to the people that they were responsible for. All of these people were either committing infidelities or they were in positions of power and abusing that power.
Oh, so they were just politicians.
You said it, not me. Although I deeply, deeply agree with that. Especially in the 1950s. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure, you betcha. Sorry, that's the wrong area. We're in Arkansas. Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, the only place that I could think of where I can get people to spill the beans about people would be a bar. So that would be somewhere that I would want to go to, because people who are under the influence of alcohol talk your fucking ear off. But I think I would like to go see where the body was found first, just to see if I can sense anything, find anything that's weird or off, because I still don't know. Like, it's clear that I am dealing with something that is taking revenge on men being fucking dumb, but I don't know if it's human or not. So I feel like looking at the surrounding area could give me some clue.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get a taxi, say goodbye to Mrs. Brown, thank you for the snacks, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go back to your motel before you go out?
Yes, because I want to look back in the tote bag of books.
Yes.
And now that I have a little bit more information to make sense of what I'm looking at, and that I know what's going on with the autopsy and stuff, I would like to look in these books and see if there is anything about thing removing heart thing.
Yeah, investigate a mystery.
All right, I'm investigating the fuck out of these books, because Journey is going to have to read, because there is no control F on books. Hold on. You all right?
Oh my god, that sent me. What a fucking brilliant.
You can't use AI to fucking quote some sources in this shit. You gotta do it yourself.
Amazing. Also, you shouldn't use AI to quote your sources because
God
they
damn
will
it. Oh,
probably
God damn
fuck you
it.
up.
Hey, I'm
Interesting.
Journey. I'm 19 and I never learned how to fucking read. That's
Oh.
a failure.
Interesting. Fascinating. I'm just going to make a note here.
Wait, no. No, she can definitely read. Don't do that to me. She can at least read somewhat well. She's dyslexic.
The
but...
note is definitely not Journey can't read.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Oh, I need to mark experience.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. God damn it. Oh, this was the roll I needed to not fail on, because this is I need more context to finish this mystery. Oh, Lord. Okay. It's fine.
You failed that roll, but I'll give you some information anyway. And
Thank
just
you.
take that nice little nugget of hard move, put it in my back pocket.
Journey's gonna trip over a book and lose her shoe.
Like a sweet, sweet candy. Keep me warm. Like a nice hard candy. I can just pull out of my pocket, pop in my mouth. So good.
So tasty.
Gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
Yeah, you're looking through the library books and you find that bookmark.
So true.
You find the bookmark
Should
of
look there first.
the checkout, and you find a section on weather-related creatures.
Okay.
And things that have been like you see elementals in there. That doesn't feel like an elemental. They're not carnivorous really. They just kind of vibe. And then you come to a section on harpies. Harpies have a couple different things going on with them, where they're often like talked about as being kind of like callings of storms, especially in like Odysseus, like being related to storms that they had to like go move the ship through.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, harpies being related to sirens and being known for calling men to their deaths.
Journey takes a moment to contemplate if this is worth doing anything about. But then realizes that morally it would be pretty bad of her to not at least try to stop this from happening. So she's going to try to stop it. But he had it coming.
Great, yeah.
Insert that song clip and get copyright struck.
Yeah, insert the next copyright strike for Memester.
Yep. How many times have we done that now?
Thankfully not. Yeah, cool. Great. You have some information. What do you want to like pack up and bring with you? It's getting kind of later in the day now. It's around like 3:00.
I guess Journey's gonna look around the hotel room and see if there's anything that was not already in her purse that could potentially be of some use to her. If she's going to go look at the place where the body was found, she, out of out of paranoia, is probably going to want to have something to defend herself in case the thing that killed the guy is still around. So she's going to see if there's anything in the hotel room that she can use to potentially defend herself. Necessary.
Yeah, okay. Now this opens up an interesting question. I think Maureen was an experienced hunter and she would have traveled discreetly, especially being a woman.
Yeah.
She wouldn't not have things around for her. So I think you start kind of looking around the room, looking through the information. Under the bed, you see a trunk and you pull it out and it has a little number code on it that's like a 4-digit code. What do you think it would be?
Well, of course, she obviously she puts in the classics 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nope.
And then that's Amelia thinking to put in 6969. That's not a Journey thought. That's an Amelia thought. Those are two separate entities. That's not what she puts in. We are not the same, though sometimes we are the same. Not in this instance. This is tricky because I was going to say she pulls out her ID and tries to put in her birth year as the code, but I would assume that on her ID that information would be fake because it's not a real ID anyway, and it would be potentially troublesome to have something with her real information on it.
Yes. You try that, and so this is like a case, much like a suitcase I actually own, where the number codes are separated for the two sides. And for the latter half of the year number, that side clicks open. So you know, like that was the end numbers of the year was correct, but not the beginning of it.
Okay. Date engraved on the ring of when I fucked the Fae King. Anyway, I have just sent you so far back into your chair. Hey man,
Yeah,
I'm trying to be creative here. Don't fucking stifle my.
Why would
stifle the ship?
No, I would never do
Don't
that.
stifle the ship. Okay.
I would actively feed into it.
I mean, I guess she can try to put in the month also. Like, is she
It's the
stupid?
50s.
That's too easy.
Having a lock on literally anything in the 50s is enough of a deterrent in and of itself.
Damn it. Okay, fine. She opens the suitcase.
Yeah, she opens the suitcase and she finds her monster hunting gear. What is it that she uses? Maybe you can have one of the Singer guns. Or not Singer.
Singer.
The sewing machine guns?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because those were made in World War II, right?
I can't remember. I think it was earlier. Singer made guns instead of sewing machines. How lovely is that? When were these made? Yeah, between 1939 and 1945, so...
Yeah, so they would have been fairly recently on, like, around.
Sure. Why not then? Yeah, we'll say that she had, like, one of those... excuse me, let me just vomit a bunch of numbers and letters. The M1911A1 pistol from Singer. # not sponsored.
Definitely not
sponsored by Singer.
by the sewing machine company Singer, who made guns during World War II.
Probably would not want to be sponsored for that particular reason anyway.
Definitely not a
moment
vibe.
in their history that they would necessarily want to look back on. Sure, I would say that there's one of those in there.
Okay.
She does find one other interesting object, which is a slightly shorter than usual umbrella. Or at least it seems like an umbrella, but upon further inspection, she realizes that the handle of the umbrella, if you pull on it, there's a rapier inside.
Yeah! That's fucking badass. I love that.
And Journey holds it in her hands and kind of takes a look at it, and she's like, wow, this is really cool. I shouldn't be using this. And she takes it with her.
I shouldn't be allowed to have this.
She knows. She's aware. She is self-aware.
That's awesome. Okay, so you get your bags packed out, bringing your umbrella with you. You call a taxi and say like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go on a little hiking trip." You have your little backpack. And they're like, "Okay,
Weird, but sure."
you're paying me. See ya." And they go and drop you off in the general like vicinity of where Mrs. Brown was talking about.
Great. All right. It's time to shove off. So she's gonna start hiking up the trail and using her umbrella as a little walkie stick. Taking a look around as she goes through. And I think in this moment, Journey is a little bit nervous because like she's not exactly one with nature, and she doesn't really know what to do in an emergency situation in terms of being out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So she definitely has some concerns. So what she's going to do is, as she's walking down the path, she's going to do the thing that she does to calm herself down in situations that make her a little bit nervous, which is singing pop music very low to herself, giving herself a sort of theme music, if you will. Wow, I love how much you don't know this song.
And so you move on.
Jesus Christ.
So you're walking through the woods.
So she's walking through the woods.
You're walking through the woods, singing to yourself lightly. As you are moving through, the sun is starting to go down, and you hear something rustling in the bushes around you. Read a bad situation.
Cool. Dude, I've gotten one full success this whole time. It's a mixed. It's a 9.
On a mixed success for read a bad situation. How many hold do you get? I get these confused. You still hold 1.
Mm-hmm.
You hear this rustling in the bushes, and you start to look around. And right as your head is turned to the right,
Mm-hmm.
trying to listen for something, because it seems like things are kind of moving around you, and someone comes out of the bushes on the left, isn't looking, and just runs right into you and knocks you to the ground.
Wait, so I'm looking at the right and someone bumps into the back of me? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you both go falling on the ground, and they start to pick themselves up.
Ow!
Oh my god. I'm so sorry. And you see a handsome young black man who is wearing like a nice like white button up and slacks and like a little cardigan. And they say, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I didn't mean to."
Yeah, I'm fine. She gets up and dusts the dirt off of her skirt, and she turns back to look at the bush.
Yeah, you don't see anything in the bush.
Cool. And she whirls back around and she's like, "Oh no, it's fine. Are you from around here?"
No, absolutely not. Yeah, nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Oh, my name's Oberon. And that's where we cut.
What? What do you mean? That's where we cut. What do you mean?
The clicking is showing up on the mic.
I'm replicating my heart rate. Oh no. Is this going to be one of those hear me out situations?